Okay, because this call is going to be very specific, and it's not going to work if you just listen to it and you don't apply it. I was saying to my wife earlier, I used to be the guy just to talk, just for the rah-rah, just to motivate people. Now I really want you guys to get the information and apply it to your career and apply it to your life. There's no point of you being on this call if you're not going to be coachable and follow what I'm telling you, because these skills is what I've used subconsciously, right? Knowing people, understanding people. Yesterday we spoke about using the product. Today we're going to talk about how to utilize people skills, right? To really grow your business, okay? Because this industry of network marketing is all about people, right? It's not about the money. It's not about all that stuff. That comes after. If you don't love people first, right, the money will never come. That's just the reality. And if the money comes, it won't come consistently, because your relationship with people, your income in this industry is directly correlated to your heart. It's directly correlated to your relationship with people, right? So these 5 languages of appreciation, I promise you guys, if you guys get this, the way that I got it, I'm telling you, it will change the game for you, okay? So first and foremost, I want to cover some things, because when it comes down to leadership, I was saying yesterday on our call yesterday that I study a lot of leaders, right? So people like, and especially because you can study athletes. I believe in studying athletes, Michael Jordan, Cristiano Ronaldo. They're phenomenal people, right? I love studying athletes. However, I think a little bit better option would be to study people that have led organizations. Because Michael Jordan is a great player, but he's never gone on to become a good coach. So I like to study, yes, great people like Kobe Bryant, rest in peace, great people. But that's why a lot of people like put some sevens in the chat for our CEO and CVO, Dr. David Amanite, and also Ivan Tapia. This is the reason why they're so great. Because people ask me, why are David and why do you guys love David so much? Why do you talk about David so much and Ivan Tapia? The reason why is they're great, they're great players, but they're also great coaches. Not everyone who's a great builder is a great leader. I'll say that again. Not everybody who is a great, like they want to recruit, they build, they can talk on stage, but they may not have the ability to build organizations, right? And garner influence to help people, right? So Michael Jordan's a great player, but I went a step further and I actually studied the coach who coached Michael Jordan. Because if Michael Jordan's so great, which he is, who coached this man? Who mentored this man? Who taught him what he needs to know? People like Phil Knight, the gentleman that created Nike, right? People like Jeff Bezos. One of my favorite coaches of all time, my favorite like CEOs is Steve Jobs. If you guys, I would encourage you to look at some of the stuff he talks about. Look at some of the speeches he gave, and you can see, as much as he was quite a harsh leader, to be honest, but he was able to get the results in people. And ultimately, the greatest leadership coach, apart from Jesus, is John C. Maxwell of all time. Is unprecedented. If you look at John C. Maxwell's leadership information, this is actually directly correlated with the 5 levels of leadership, which is another topic. But today, we're going to talk about the 5 languages of appreciation, okay? So I want you guys to take notes. And this will be a teaching session as well, because as I'm teaching, I'm also learning as well, right? So first and foremost, we're going to start with this statement, okay? 12% of people in organizations, and this is studied from, this is statistics from organizations, companies, leadership companies. Guys, if you look at any organization, now, I used to work in a very high-paced corporate job. Some of you still work now. Some of you may be full-time in the industry, but either way, all of us have had a job at some point, or we're in a job right now, right? Now, watch this. 12% of people, guys, write this down. I want you guys to get this. I want you guys to understand this and apply it to your business from today. Because all of you, whether you have a team or you don't, or you're starting out, you need these skills, right? To understand people. So, guys, listen to me carefully. 12% of people in organizations don't leave, or they're, let's say 12% of people, right? Hold on. What was it before? Yeah, sorry. So if you look at organizations, 12% of people in an organization, right, that says they're unhappy by the leadership, or they leave that organization, or whatever the case is, they leave because of money, right? I'll say it again. 12% of people who claim to be unhappy, I'm not happy with this or whatever, they're discouraged. 12% of them leave because of money. Oh, I'm not making enough money, right? I'm not making enough money. Oh, whatever, right? I don't feel like, I'm up to speed right now. I don't feel like I'm really, in my zone. I don't know. I'm just not with it. But 88% of people in organizations, this will blow you away. 88% of people in organizations are not happy because of non-monetary reasons. 88% of people in all, whether it's network marketing, whether it's public, a job, a corporate job, JP Morgan, whatever company you're working, Sainsbury's, Tesco, it doesn't matter what company it is. 12% of people leave because of money issues. 88% of people are not happy because of relationship problems. Relationships is the currency of life. Okay? And the reason why I'm doing this specific training is not just for the rah-rah. It's because we are in massive momentum right now. Someone put massive momentum in the chat, right? Like, we are in massive momentum. For you to grow as a leader, guys, me and Kat were saying this to each other this morning. You have got to grow. If you want to be a leader in this space, you cannot be the same person. Like, you got to grow. And it's a challenge. It's uncomfortable. I woke up this morning, 6 a.m., went to the gym. Did I want to go? Hell no. It was like, no. Even though the gym is downstairs in my building, but I still didn't want to go. Because it's like, man, it's 6 a.m. But you see, it's not about all of that. It's about having the mentality. It's about growing. If I don't get uncomfortable, how am I going to get the body that I want? It's all about becoming uncomfortable. So if 12% of people leave because of money, 88% leave because of relationship problems, guess what you have to get people to tap into? You have to get people, or you have to understand people and build relationships with people that last. You see, everybody is so caught up on the money. Oh, I wanna join this business because, or this leader because, oh, if I join this leader, I can make more money. Or if I get involved in this industry, I can make more money. If that is your focus, you're behind the eight ball. You're not. That's not really the mentality you should have. It's about the relationship. Relationships bring the money. So I'm going to cover the 5 languages of appreciation. Okay, there's 5 of them. You might know these as the 5 love languages. Okay, there's a book called The 5 Love Languages. And the gentleman that wrote that book, he said, well, the 5 love languages are typically applied to romantic relationships. This call is not about that. This call is about those same languages, but applied into a professional setting. Okay? Because if you can understand these five languages of appreciation, your team will love you. Your team will respect you. Because you have to be able to tap into different personalities. Okay? And this is what we're going to focus on today. So I'm going to read out something to you guys real quickly. That's going to really give you some more perspective on how this works. Okay? Okay. As a matter of fact, I'm actually going to share my screen. I really want you guys to get this, man. This is such a deep thing. Okay? I'm gonna share my screen. All right. So it says here, employee recognition is not a one size fits all. The 5 languages of appreciation in the workplace help managers or leaders inspire great performance and retain top talent. The first step to forging a valuable working relationship between employees and creating a culture of recognition is learning each other's primary language of appreciation. If you can express genuine appreciation for a co-worker's specific contribution or how their actions reflect company values, you'll increase loyalty, improve employee experience, and cut down staff turnover. Why do you think Amway is so successful? Why do you think Herbalife is so successful? This is the reason why. This topic is explored at length by author Gary Chapman in the 5 languages of appreciation in the workplace. Chapman is widely known for his seminal work, The 5 Love Languages, which examines how different personality types give and receive love. His follow-up book, co-written with psychologist Paul White, discusses how managers can effectively show appreciation and encouragement for their employees. Authentic appreciation is individual. One employee may welcome an invitation to a football game, whereas another might favor a simple but specific word or note of thanks. Which of the 5 languages of appreciation you choose to express should depend on what people prefer. Okay. Now, there's a whole article written on it, and I studied. I've been studying this stuff for over 10 years, right? For those that don't know, before I joined network marketing, I was actually involved in the ministry, and I used to be like a youth pastor for a church. So I understand people. I understand how people react to things and how to work with different types of people. But it was really when I got involved in the people business of networking that I understood some more aspects of it. Now, there's 5 languages of appreciation. The first language is one that my wife loves. That's her love language, is quality time. Okay? Write this down. Quality time is number 1. Quality time is very important for your group. And I've been saying this to all the leaders, right? You've got to check in with your team every day. Listen, most of you, in fact, all of you on this call, majority of you got a message from me this morning. Did you not? Put a yes in the chat if you got a message from me. 1 second, guys. Put a yes in the chat if you got a text from me this morning. Put a yes in the chat if you got a text from me this morning. Oh, what a surprise. Okay. So am I just preaching it, or am I doing what I'm preaching? There's a difference. Right? Me and Katrina, we actually live this life. We actually do what we teach. We actually are the leaders that we're preaching about. See, how many of you guys got a message? Yes. You got a message from me this morning. Right? Because, and this is quality time in a relationship is very important. In a business relationship, it's also very important. You can't grow a business and sustain a business without communicating with your group and spending time with them. Now, if you notice, right, one thing that I do subconsciously, and this is more on some other aspects of it, but I always find out something about the person that I'm working with. Now, I know my boy Alex. I've known him for over 10 years, right? He's going to be a diamond in this company. He's already a diamond in this company. Great friend of mine, sharp guy, corporate. He's a father, wonderful father. And I know he supports Arsenal. I know. I know what he's into. And we have a lot of similar interests, right? I know Alex likes to travel, right? So when I'm on the phone with him, we're not just talking about work. oh, you see your team lost yesterday. It's a little bit of joke, right? But or ask him, like, how's your son? Because quality time, listen, people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care, right? Building an organization is about fitting people in the right sections and understanding everyone, right? And finding at least one thing about them that makes them happy. One of our leaders, Sylvia from Norway, shout out to Sylvia. She's killing it, right? Trading, building. And I actually went to see her in Norway. And because I was going through a wedding, me and my good friend went to my other friend, Bilal, one of my best friends. He got married a few months ago. So I went to Norway, booked a flight. So I told Sylvia weeks before, sis, I'm coming to Norway. Let's link up. And it wasn't just a meeting for oh, let's just do business. We sat down, had a lunch. I saw her daughter there. Was playing with her. She was sitting on my lap watching some Coco Melon on the phone, like watching it, and that's quality time. That's how you build a relationship long term. She knows, okay, Derrick and Katrina really care about me, right? Katrina's on the phone with her, on FaceTime with her, helping her through getting her set up on the system, right? Talking about life as well as business. Very, very important. Okay. Spending time with your group. It doesn't have to be a long, 3-hour meeting. It could just be a check-in, a phone call. Hey, how's it going? And not everyone has this language. Some people don't really need that as much. But for those that, especially, and when you look at these languages, it's sometimes based upon your past and your childhood, right? So some people maybe need quality time more than others because of different things. Like one of my friends, they told me, oh, I don't need quality time because they grew up with loads of sisters and brothers in their house. They had the mom and dad together. They had about 7 or 8 siblings. So he was like, bro, when it comes to like building relationships, whether it be romantic, I'm just me because I've got a big family. He's used to it. Some people are the opposite, right? So quality time is crucial with your team to let them know that you care about them. That it's not just all business. There's actually a relationship here, a professional business relationship that's being built, and they know that, okay, this person really cares. This person really is going to check in on me and see how I'm doing. Like I know everything about my group. That I study everybody. I know what makes them tick. And I always remember something that they've done, or like if they're from a certain part of the world, I'll speak something in their language. I might only know one word, but I'm able to relate with them. Relatability is so important. Part of quality time is I find something that relates with them and I tap into that. And I always create a relatable joke. So for example, every time I call them, I will say something funny that they remember that we spoke about before, and it invokes, oh, Derrick's cool. He cares. Because in business, it can be very cutthroat, especially in this industry. Trust me, like not everyone's like us. Some leaders they just recruit you, put you into a team, goodbye. But we care about you guys. We care about the team because it's the team that makes the dream. When we're on stage getting the recognition and you're on stage getting the recognition, it's your group that also should be on the stage with you because it was a team effort. Does that make sense? So quality time is deep, okay? And I want you guys to schedule time with your group. That's why we spoke about yesterday, the game plan interview. The game plan interview is after they've gone through steps 1 and 2 on the 5 steps to success, after they've told you their why, and then you've set them up on the trading platform. You've told them how to use MT4. You've shown them how. You sent them my video. They set themselves up on the platform. Now it's time to do a game plan interview. This is quality time in a way. It's maybe like a 20-minute, 30-minute conversation, right? It's not long, but it's to talk about the goals that they have told you, talk about their why, and set up a list, set up some events, and start to move the business forward. That's part of the relationship building process. Okay. Some examples of quality time, right? Me and Kat are going to be doing a little get together for the team soon in February. This will be part of that. This will be an example of that. Getting together in a nice location, food, Monopoly, right? Games. That's how teams stay together. There has to be a team culture. Why do you think a lot of companies do Christmas parties? It's not just because of, oh, it's Christmas. It's because that's a way that they get together. They're bonding and they remember that, right? They remember those moments, right? And then they bond outside of business. They find out each other's interests outside of business, and then they create a friendship, a professional friendship outside of business, right? Very, very important. When it comes down to quality time, okay, you can actually gift people quality time. So, for example, if I was, let's say, if I was a manager of a food store, what I would do is I would say something like, hey, it's Christmas Eve or it's 23rd or 22nd of December. I'll pick maybe a few people. I'll be like, just go home early. Go be with your family. And I know a lot of companies do that. A lot of companies do that. They say, hey, I know it's been, it's Christmas, it's December 23rd. Go and spend some time with your family. Right? I'll take care of it. Those little things play a big part. And as I was saying earlier, a lot of companies, a lot of people stay in jobs or stay in careers. Sometimes they may not be making as much money as they know they can make, but the relationship and the way that they're treated, they love it. There's certain companies in our industry, like Amway, you got people in that company making no money at all. Like them for years, but they stay. I'm not saying that I want people to make money. You guys are making some money, right? But I'm just saying there are some organizations out there where people aren't like 6-figure earners, 7-figure earners, but they are so grateful for their environment because of how they're treated. Okay, and I believe you got to get guys paid, but because of the growth and the development, they stay in the community. A lot of people like community. They like to be around like-minded people. This world is a very negative world. Everyone has something to say. Everyone has something to disagree with. There's always debates going around, right? So people like positive. When people come around us, they're like, Derrick, why are you guys so happy? You guys are always smiling. You guys are always, what's the catch? They don't understand it. Because they look at how happy we are and they're like, these guys are robots. Are these guys clones? Who are these people? Because normally, when you go outside of this industry, it's a whole different world. When you're in the self-development, personal development, network marketing industry, or anything like this, any self-development space, and you're spending quality time with quality people, that is a very, very crucial thing. And I want you guys, before we continue, I want you to write a list on paper of the 5 people that are closest to you. Yeah, do it right now. Okay. Make a list of the 5 people that are closest to you. Okay. And I want you guys to identify, and I want to show you how to identify this, what their love language is or what their language of appreciation is, and try and tap into that specifically for them. Okay. And at the end of this training, I want you guys to tell me what your language is. Now, you may have more than one. I have got 2. I've got 2 main ones. You might have 1 main one. You might have 2 main ones. But you're going to have a mixture of all 5. But you're going to have 2 predominant ones that are like the top ones. Quality time. Team retreats. Why do you think the company does diamond trips and champion trips? Because you're spending quality time with people that have made incredible income. You're spending time with leaders. Next year, we're going to Dominican Republic, right? For the vision trips. Think about it. You're going away to a luxury location, Hard Rock Hotel, 5-star hotel, sun is shining, right? Around great people. You get a chance to pick their brain on their success, and you come back a different person. That's how it works. Okay. Quality time is number one. Okay. Deep, meaningful time, scheduled time with those people. I'm going to show you how to identify what their language is. But when you know that someone loves quality time, prioritize that. Set aside time, undivided attention, and say, you know what? This is our time. We're going to talk about business. How's your family? How's it going? Right? Now, I know a lot of probably most of your kids' names, because I memorize it. I'm like, okay, I remember these guys' kids. You got to know it. That's part of becoming a leader. You've got to be tapped in. You've got to be a step ahead, right? And that's how you win, because people know that you care about them. There might be challenges that you go through. Like, you think I haven't been through challenges in my career? Me and Kat. But David, the way that David treats us, it's not about anything else, right? It's about understanding that David has sat down with us one-on-one. This is the number one leader in the industry. This is someone that the whole industry respects, that John C. Maxwell personally mentors, that Bob Proctor, rest in peace, was personally mentoring this man. Tony Robbins personally mentors Ivan Tapia. We're talking about two of the very best leaders in the world today. David sat down with us, with me and Kat, talking. How's it going? How's Nehemiah? How's the family? That's better than any check I can get. That means the world to me. And we repay that with loyalty, right? Because we see that this David really cares. And you know how big David's company is, how big our company is? And he has the time to answer my phone call and even text me back. I don't take it for granted. Because I understand that's time spent. When I FaceTime David and he's chilling in his house, I'm like, what's up, Dave? We're talking, that's quality time, right? Let them know that you care. If someone calls me, if you guys can testify, if you guys call me, I don't answer, I will text back or call back at some point, right? Because you've got to tap in with your group, right? They've reached out, reach back out. All right? That's the first one, quality time. Okay? The second language of appreciation is gifts. I know some of you guys are going to love this one, right? Who likes gifts? Who likes gifts? Put gifts in the chat if you like gifts, right? Let me know, by the way, if you, I mean, you haven't heard all 5 yet, so but you haven't heard all 5 yet. But I get over time, you'll be able to see. But gift, right? Gifts are probably the easiest to give, because again, and it doesn't have to be anything. It doesn't have to be a big thing, right? It's just something that shows appreciation, something that is personal to them. Okay. Now, one thing about people that like gifts is you want to make sure the gift is personal. Now, for example, if you're building your group, you gotta be innovative. So if you know that one of your leaders is an Arsenal supporter, or I don't know, shouldn't be an Arsenal supporter, should be a Man United supporter like me, but that's a whole other debate. But let's just say whatever team they support, say, hey, you know what, man? If you do such and such, I got a gift for you. Now, you got to know over time, you got to tap into them and find out if they like gifts. Because some people don't even appreciate gifts. Like for me personally, I like gifts, but it's not my number two. It's not my top two, right? I like gifts, but I can do without it because I buy my own gifts, right? That's how my mindset has been. I like gifts though. Listen, I ain't denying them. My birthday's in September, guys. You got 8 months to find me something. I'm size 8.5. I'm size 8 or 9, depending on the sneakers. I'm size 8, 8.5, Let me know. But yeah, but seriously though, right? Some of you love gifts. And so some people in your group, you're going to they would appreciate that. Like, for example, some of you, I think most of you got our Christmas cards, and it was something small. It wasn't like we put £100 in each card, but that we understand how important that is to let you guys know that, hey, we appreciate you. That you guys are more than just a number. You all are part of this. And when you come to the event next week, you're going to see the culture that we've created, the culture of appreciation, the culture of recognition. Recognition is so crucial. People will work hard for money, but they will die for recognition. If you've ever watched the film Gladiator, one of my favorite films of all time, Russell Crowe. Oh, it was my top 5 films of all time. What I mean, incredible film. And Russell Crowe, me and Kat love that film. I mean, just an inspirational film. But if you notice, he was willing to die just to be recognized as the general, Maximus Decimus Meridius, right? And that's what I'm like. The key thing is the recognition that he yearned is what we all yearn. Like, I grew up in an environment where as I got older, I appreciated recognition way more. Okay. And gifts are crucial. And this again advances over time as your team develops, as your team grows, as you start producing more and leaders, your team expands, you have more people. You tap into, you find out when their birthday is. Okay. You find out. And again, depending on your relationship with them, you will know that offhand. Build a relationship with them, tap in his little gift for you. It doesn't have to be anything expensive, but just keep that in mind. Bear in mind that that's some people's language of appreciation, right? They like to be recognized. They like to be given that a round of applause. And a gift in hand, a physical gift, it could be a gift of personal growth. I've been sending out audios all month. The past couple months, been sending out audios. We created a playlist. That's a gift, because that gift is going to help you grow. I remember when we went to David's house a couple years ago, and this is 2019. And we walked into his home, multi-million-dollar home, right, in Houston. We walk into his house. This is David Imanitia. This is not just some, this is David. Walk into the house, and he's giving us clothes. He's giving me some, and I'm like, you're giving away these shirts. Like, hey, take this. He understands. He didn't know what my language was, but he's doing that because he understands people like that. Something, hey, here's a little gift for you. And they would appreciate that. And those little things keep you, it makes you appreciative. And it's like, you didn't have to give that shirt to me. Like, there was no obligation for that, right? So gifts can work. And again, depending on the scenario, gifts can definitely work. Okay, guys? That's number 2. Number 3 is physical touch. Now, obviously, in the 5 love languages, right, it talks about that in a romantic. This is a professional setting. Now, obviously, with business becoming more virtual over the years, right? And, with the rise of Zoom and the rise of Skype, back in the day, network marketing was very physical. It was belly to belly. You met people out there. The only way you could prospect was you go out and find numbers. You go out into the mall. You go out into, where, if you're traveling, if you're in the airport, you get some numbers, right? This is the essence of the industry, is building relationships. But physical touch is something that is, not so much in that way, like, it has to be a professional sense. But if you've noticed, right, that, or you might have heard about this, there is a chemical in the brain called oxytocin, okay? And oxytocin is the chemical that's released that brings comfort to your spirit and comfort to your being. So when you shake somebody's hand, or when you high five somebody, if you're comfortable with that person, it brings oxytocin. It makes you comfortable. That's why a hug is so crucial. Now, again, depending on the setting, a nice friendly hug or a nice handshake. That's why I always teach people, especially the guys, when you shake a man's hand, it has to be firm. You have to give the eye contact and you smile, right? That's how I was raised by my brother, by my elders. Shake a man's hand, you give a firm handshake, 3 pumps and release. Give an eye contact. Nice to meet you, sir. How you doing? Derrick Alexander. Nice to meet you. What's your name? Right? I give first and second name. Derrick Alexander. Nice to meet you. Right? That again, physical touch is like you lock in an agreement. Nice to meet you. Or a casual or ladies hug, right? It's a nice way to just greet somebody, right? And again, this is a bit of a different way to the other two that I've just explained. But do you guys know that another way of physical, it's not physical, but another way, another strategy that you can use, or another thing that we do that does produce oxytocin is eye contact. So even if it's not, you can, for example, if you go to events, right, you will see that David will tell us, stand up, give someone a high five. Or he will say, stand up and give someone a massage. Chop it up, turn around, and then, have you guys been at events? We do that at our events. Why? We're going to do it next week because it's a way to break the ice. Physical touch, respectful physical touch, it brings comfort. It breaks the ice, right? You might not know the person next to you next week at the event, but you give them a massage, hey, nice to meet you, nice to meet you. That's a part of, growing relationships, respectful professional relationships, okay? But eye contact is crucial. There's a reason why I want this Zoom. I'm looking right at the camera. I'm looking at you. Eye contact. So when you're building, relationships with people, you're building rapport, eye contact is crucial because if you're not giving eye contact, it breaks trust. They're like, okay, why are you looking? Why isn't it? I'm not saying you're looking like a crazy person. Obviously not. You're gonna look away sometimes, look around, keep it cool, but right back to them. It shows that you're paying attention to them. It shows respect, and it shows that you're giving them your own undivided time and listening to what they say. If I'm looking around whilst you're talking, they're not gonna be as engaged with the conversation. So physical touch, very, very important. Even sometimes if someone's going through a hard time, I might just give them a little tap on the shoulder. It's gonna be all right, man. Don't worry about it. That little touch alone can do a big difference. It can change. It can make them, completely like, wow, like they care. Like it's just a little touch on the shoulder. It's not nothing crazy, but it's like that's also psychologically, it does breed oxytocin. Handshake, a handshake, and then what's up, bro? How you doing? Right? If I greeted all of you on Saturday and I didn't shake anyone's hand, I didn't hug anybody, would it feel the same? It wouldn't. I'll feel cold. It'll be like, hey, nice to meet you. How you doing? Nice to meet you. Yeah, I saw you on the call the other day. How you doing? It's not the same, So that builds bonds, that builds relationships, right? And that's very, very important. Tony Robbins. If you guys know Tony Robbins, one of the #1 coaches of all time, right? He talks about, going to events. And when you go to his events, everyone's high-fiving. He always does it. Give someone a high five. Give someone a high five. Why? Because that's part of building a bond. That's part of, connecting with people. And you sometimes feel empowered. High five, high five, high five. Give them a fist bump, right? Whatever way you feel comfortable. But that's a part of growth. That's a part of relationship building. That's a part of you increasing the oxytocin, which increases your comfort as a person. Okay? Now, the next one is my second favorite one. It's not my #1, it's my #2. It's called acts of service. This one right here is for people that like to be served, people that like to be looked after, people that like to be like people to do things for them. I like that, right? Ask anyone, ask Kat. When we're in a hotel, I love being served. I call room service. Hey, how you doing? Can I have a hot towel, please? Hey, Can I have this? Can I have that? Can I order this? Like I love it. Or I call, hey, can I have you got some slippers, another bathrobe, another, yeah. I that's because that's part of my I love that. I enjoy acts of service, right? So acts of service in leadership is helping like helping people get tasks done and other people getting tasks done for you on your behalf. Okay. And this can actually happen when you are delegating. Okay. So as a leader, one thing that I've learned from my coaches over time, one of my coaches in my previous company was very good at this, extremely good at this. Um, maybe too good at this. He was good at delegating. He was good at giving tasks and duplicating himself and everybody else and creating an environment of duplication, right? So, but again, acts of service is more, if you may like someone to like serve you. Hey, is there anything I can do for you today? Do you want me to help you set up your app? Maybe you might have some questions, and maybe someone in the group chat might message you directly. Hey, I see you have some issues with the app. Do you have any questions for me? Boom, they can serve them. People like that, right? And to be fair, acts of services, everyone pretty much likes that in a way. It's not something that you wouldn't like because who doesn't like being served? When you go to a restaurant, imagine if they told you, hey, you have to go up to get your food. Go to a 5-star restaurant, and they tell you have to go up and get your food. No, right? We like to be served. But as leaders, we have to also serve. And I focus on serving, not being served. I focus more on serving because service to many leads to greatness. So I focus more on, as a leader, like making sure that if there's an issue, if there's a request, I'll do my very, very best to get back to that person or deal with that query or serve their mind, serve their heart. Like, hey, how can I help you today? Because one thing about this industry that's very important is customer service. And a lot of the time, people don't get good customer service. You join a company and then they don't get a text back in 2 weeks. They're just on their own. You're going to feel alienated. So acts of service is crucial because it allows you to, especially if you're giving, because whatever language that you are doing the most is pretty much the one that you want back the most, right? So if you're giving out, if you're like, hey, I want to serve you, I want to serve the team. A lot of people are good at that. There's people in our company right now that are fantastic at that. Every single day they're posting calls, they're posting this, they're serving the bigger team, they're serving the greater team. That's a great trait of someone that likes acts of, or that thrives on acts of service. They like to serve, but they also love to be served. Okay, so that's acts of service. Okay, now another way to see it is also a mental act of service. And what this is, guys, is if we're having a mastermind session and I say, guys, I've got a big to-do list, and one of your team says, hey, you know what, John? I've already got it covered. I've already got it covered. Don't worry about it, John. I've already got an idea on how we can do this. That's a mental act of service. It takes that pressure off your brain. That's why David is so grateful for us because he has a team, he has an inner circle of people that we've got his back. Right? What do you need? Right? What do you need done? We'll serve. Right? We make sure we make ourselves available to serve the greater team because service to many leads to greatness. The more people that you serve is the more people that you impact, and your name will grow naturally as being a genuine person that loves people. Now, if you look at it, in spiritual terms, there's a word called ministry. So if you talk to any Christian, they'll tell you, I'm in a ministry. Do you know what the word ministry actually means? If you translate the ministry to Greek, the ancient text, the word minister means to serve. And the actual translation of that word is like the Greek. I forgot the actual Greek word, but it basically means to serve so much to the point that when you're walking, dust is coming off the floor. That you're serving so much that the actual translation, that's what it means. It means that you're serving so much and you're ministering to the people, you're serving the people so much that as you're walking, that dust is coming up off the floor. Right? That's how powerful this whole act of service is. It's more than just you receiving an act of service. It's about you serving others. Serve your group. Listen, in this industry, you don't work for me. I work for you. I work for you guys. Do you guys understand? I work for you guys. Listen, I'm not your boss. I don't want to be your boss. I'm not your manager. I definitely don't want to be your manager. I want to be your leader. I want to be your coach. However, I want to serve, most importantly. Wealthy people love people who serve. Period. End of story. Okay? When I'm around David, I hold his back. Period. I don't care what anyone says. You're a grown man. Yeah, I'm a grown man, but this gentleman is my coach, my mentor. If he's really my mentor, when we go to dinner, you think I'm gonna let him pay for his meal? You really think that Derrick Alexander's gonna let him pay for his meal? Absolutely not. When he's around me, he doesn't hold his bag. I say, hey, let me hold your bag, bro. That's acts of service. I mean, again, you have to, my mind, I've been doing this for a long time. Some of you may not be there mentally, but I'm there. I've been through that process of understanding how to serve my mentor, serving the community, humility. If you look in the Bible, Elijah and Elisha was the mentee, Elijah was the mentor. And Elisha was so dedicated to serve his mentor that he said, listen, Elijah, wherever you go, I'm going to go. If you go to another city, I'm going to go there. And he literally became the duplication of Elijah. So much so that his name is Elisha. There's no mistake. That's how powerful this whole thing is. An act of service, serving your coach. Guys, when's the last time you served your mentor? When's the last time you took your mentor out for dinner? So you don't think like that. You want to be served. Yeah, you might want to be served, but do you serve others? When's the last time you took your team out for a dinner? It doesn't have to be anything expensive. It could be a coffee. It could be a sit down. Right? That's crucial. You have to, guys, we have to grow. If our team, listen, we want 1,000 champions, it's great. We can speak it all day. Oh, 1,000 champions. I'm so happy grateful now. We can speak it all day long. But we have to grow. You understand what I'm saying? If we want to get those 1,000 champions, which we're going to have, we've got to grow. We can't be the same people we are right now. We have to grow. Speaking it is one thing. That's 90%. But you've got to have the other 10%, which is the action. The putting in the actual action. Okay, let's be the team. What does a group with 1,000 champions, how do they act? How do they talk to each other? How do they respond? This is the culture we have to create, a culture of love. A culture of inclusion, not exclusion, inclusion. Okay? So, acts of service. Now, number five, is my favorite. It's my number one. Words of affirmation. And it kind of leads on to our next topic when we start doing the affirmations in a minute. But this is my number one love language, my number one language of appreciation by a mile. Right? And I will explain why. For me, growing up, I grew up in a very broken home, right? So for me, growing up, I never had people telling me, hey, you're doing great. I had to fend through life by myself without having anyone cheering me on. I didn't have mom and dad, or my mom, I went into care when I was 8 years old. So I didn't have that family bond with anybody. All I had was foster carers. And to even make it even more crazy, I didn't have any childhood friends. So all my childhood friends, because I kept moving, I lived in 10 different houses before the age of 18. So for me, it was like, bro, I'm outside. I'm just like, I kept moving around from place to place, trying to fit in with this people, fit in with this person, right? So when words of affirmation are so important to me, because it's like, okay, it's deeper than just what I like now. I guess over time I've grown and I've developed. I'm no longer like doing things for validation. I don't need validation. God validates me. But in the sense of encouragement, I was looking back at my texts, and I can't read it out on my other phone. But there was a text that David sent me. about a year and a half ago. And we went to we had an event. I think it was our first launch event for the company, NVU in the UK. Our first ever event. We had about 500 people there. Great event. After the event, a couple of days later, I woke up at 6 a.m. because David's flight was 8:30. So I was on the way to the airport. As I was on the way to the airport, David texts me. He goes, bro, I want to let you know I'm proud of you. You know, I see the level of belief that you have. That's bigger than I've ever seen. You have the most belief I've ever seen since I've known you, and you're going to be a six-figure monthly earner. It's already done. Now that text message has stayed with me since that day he sent it, because for me, words of affirmation are so crucial to my makeup, the way that I'm set up. It's like that means the world to me. And you might have someone in your group that encouragement, hey, you're doing great. I'm proud of you. Well done. And there's nothing, listen, all these different languages is tailored. There's no right or wrong one. This is what makes you tick, right? And for example, I know some people that like praise. They like, and to be fair, I do that a lot to all of you guys. Hey, congratulations, well done. You made your first profit. I'm proud of you. And the reason why I do that is because technically that's my love language. Not that I want it back, but just because I give it out more, because it's like, this is what I give out. It's just who I am. So naturally, and obviously I read a lot of books. I listen to audios all day. I'm always thinking positive. So I naturally speak positive things, right? So words of affirmation is a way where you can encourage people around you. And, inadvertently, you encourage yourself too. As you're speaking positive words about somebody else, it now comes into your life, now comes into your mind and your spirit. This is very, very, very important, guys. That's why we do recognition. Going back to recognition, like before, when someone gets promoted in our group, we do recognitions because we want to let you guys know how proud we are of you. Right? To come into this company and make any money is an accomplishment. It's not about the amount of money you've made. People always talk about the amount of money. The amount of money comes when it comes. But in the meantime, even $100 in your first $100 that you've earned in your first week or 2 weeks, whatever, that's still something that we can celebrate. You have to celebrate the small wins. If you're not grateful for what you have now, God can't give you more. So being grateful and saying, hey, I'm proud of you, bro. One of our leaders in America, Tamara, she made $570 in her first 3 weeks. She'll get paid that this Friday. No, not next Friday on the residual. That's an accomplishment, and that's her biggest check, in her first 3 weeks. In her 2 previous companies, it took her over a month to make thousands of dollars that she eventually made. So in 3 weeks, boom, from 0 to 100, bam. Now the next level, 1,000, then 2,000. But we start off with celebrating the small wins. And I let everyone know how proud I am of you, how proud I am of all of you on this call. If you're new, if you've been here for a while, I appreciate you. Because this is a voluntary army. You've decided to join this company. You put your hard-earned money into this company to get information and to get education that can change your life, that can make you better than you are today. Does that make sense? So words of affirmation are crucial. On LinkedIn, when I was in the corporate world years ago, we used to have this thing called LinkedIn recommendations, where someone in your same industry gives you a recommendation. And hey man, listen, I'm not gonna lie. Sometimes I would ask my people, hey man, write me a recommendation, because the more recommendations you have, the better it's gonna be for you, right? If you're looking for a job, right, in a high level career, right, the more recommendations that you have, it's better for you. So I would call my boys. I'm like, yo, listen, write me a recommendation real quick. Just tell the LinkedIn community how good I am. Right? Tell them how amazing I am, right? And it would work because I would always get, approached for different jobs, and they would always say, "Oh, you've got a lot of recommendations here from a lot of people." That's just how that's how it goes, right? That's words of affirmation. Positive words about your life. Okay? Positive words about your what you're doing. This is very, very important, guys, for your growth. And these five languages, guys, are crucial, right? Awards, right? Another thing, awards, winning awards, um, Hall of Fame. Guys, if you work hard enough, you're going to be in the Network Marketing Hall of Fame. Called on stage in front of thousands of people, getting a trophy for being $1 million a year earner. And on that stage, you're going to get also words of affirmation. So, guys, out of those five, let me know in the chat which one do you think tailors to you the most? Is it quality time? Is it gifts? Is it physical touch? Is it acts of service? Or is it words of affirmation? Let me know in the chat. My number one is words of affirmation. Number two is acts of service. What's yours? Let me know in the chat. Okay, quality time, words of affirmation. Words of affirmation. Quality time with loved ones. Yep. Absolutely. Quality time and acts of service. Quality time. Okay. Amazing. So we're seeing, okay, cool. Some of them is one, some of them is two. Quality time, gifts, words of affirmation, acts of service. Wonderful. Now let me show you how you can identify this in your team. Okay. There's two ways. The first way is to observe. Now I'm going to read it out. This is actually from the book itself. It says, consider how your co-workers express genuine appreciation to others, whether it's through words of praise or a thoughtfully selected gift. Often, how someone treats another person is exactly how they would like to receive appreciation. An individual can benefit from different languages of appreciation as well, not just one. The second way, so the first way is to observe. The second way is to listen attentively. Work backwards by noting what people complain about. It could be lack of face time with a superior or the need for extra help under a looming deadline. So, for example, some people complain, oh, like I'm not getting the support, whatever, right? So you got to be able to understand and look at that and say, okay, this is what the person needs. Some people may not need that. Some guys may say, oh, you know what? There should be more recognition. So we could maybe set up a recognition call or something. There's always ways around to tailor to everyone because everyone's got different personalities. If everybody was the same, it would be a very interesting world. It would be a boring world if everyone was the same. What makes the world incredible is that everybody's different. Everyone has different feelings. Everyone has different emotions. Everyone looks different, right? Even identical twins are not identical, right? So that's how, it works in life. And so, I'm really excited that you guys were on the call and got the information. It's a very different type of training, but I believe it's very important that we have this as we're going to grow. We want 1,000 champions. You've got to grow to that 1,000 champions organization that we are already, right? God's already given it to us. We have to walk in that promise that he's given to us and move accordingly. Okay, guys. So I'm excited, guys. I really appreciate you being on this. And we're going to do the affirmations now. So I need 3 volunteers. Okay. I need 3 volunteers. So someone put me in the chat. The first 3 people, I'm going to call you up to share and to read out the affirmations. I've got it on a document here. So I'm going to show you guys. So we've got Lavana, number 1. And I want to show you guys, I'm going to read out, I'm going to explain to you guys what the affirmations are as well, just in case you don't know. I'm going to explain to you the importance of affirmations. Boniface, okay, amazing. Third person, Jonathan, great. So guys, look, so before I talk about affirmations, this training obviously has been recorded, right? But most importantly, I want you guys to actually go ahead and let me just stop it recording now. I want you to go ahead and actually write down the 5 people that are closest to you, right? And find out what language that they have, what words, what appreciation language they have, right? And try and tailor to that. You might not know it right away, but try and do something for them, because that again, that's very. It could be in business, it could be in your personal life with your family. Okay, very, very crucial, guys. This is how you build long. You want to know why I've got so many long-term relationships with so many great people? I've got friends in every industry. I got relationships that 10, 15, 20 years, well, 10, 15 years. And some of them I'm not in business with. Some of them I will never be in business with. But we are locked in for life because I've been able to tap into who they are and them with me as well. And that's how you maintain, guys, relationships are more important than money. Trust me. Trust me, guys. I've had, I've been, we've been through a great journey these past couple of years. And from what we've seen is you could have all the money in the world. If you don't have relationships, it's not gonna mean as much as if you had the relationships, because you can decide to just go for the money and get rich and do whatever it takes and cut people to get what you want, but you're gonna end up being a very, very lonely individual. So the key is to build long-term, sustainable, honest, genuine, loving relationships with people, right? Whether they're in your team or not in your team, right? And that's really what I want you guys to know, is especially in this generation right now, you got to have real ones around you, okay? And that's really important. So guys, I really pray that you guys really tap into that, and really make a decision to be a professional with people. Don't just try and call someone up, hey man, join my team. No, be a professional. Be a professional, guys, right? Build relationships with people genuinely, not just for them to sign up. Because after you sign them up, you're gonna still have to build a relationship with them. Did you guys know that? I want to sign people up. You can sign up 100 people. But if you don't build a relationship, they're all gonna quit next month anyway. Right? It's the reality. That's why the turnover is sometimes so high in network marketing, because people don't understand. You don't just sign someone up. You have to work with them. You have to tap into them, find out who they are, find out their family, find out their background. I'm not saying you have to be their best friend. I'm not saying you have to, take them for dinner every week. I'm not saying you have to, know their shoe size and all that kind of stuff. I'm just saying you have to really tap into who they are. At least, find out a little bit about them, become familiar with them, and build that relationship. Okay? Don't look at everybody with like a laser on their head. Be genuine. That plays a big part. Okay, guys? Well, I'm excited, man. We're gonna do the affirmations now. Now, guys, affirmations are crucial, right? And